All right. So here we have O'Shea Duke Jackson. As I was saying before, he's an asshole. I've already listened to one of his videos before, and it was just so disgusting. It's just like, really, like, yeah. And maybe I'd actually get to that video soon, but let's continue. Let's hear him out.
I've been a part of this social media black male space for 5 years. And in this time, African American men have vented their frustrations about the black community on a macroscopic level, and on a very microscopic level, black women and some criticisms of them as a whole. Okay, so we're just
So, yeah, we're just gonna go full Uncle Ruckus. Okay, yeah, let's do this. Oh shit, that was a shot of fucking oh shit that woke me up a little bit. Damn. Seeing that, most of the women I've been were African American women. I kind of take offense from this shit because they were so varied and different, each and of themselves, and just to classify having something wrong with a group of women just because, let's be honest, he's pandering to losers on the internet who feel that, well, this is the reason why I can't get a woman. Not that I'm just a shit person and I need to actually address some issues that I have on myself, but because the conspiracy. But let's continue.
dealing with the larger community, black women in particular. When black men start to talk about these things, about black women and maybe the children or the single mothers or some of the behavior issues that they'll have, and why they might need to look to date another race or go to other communities, the response from women themselves will be, you can't get a black woman, or you are not strong enough to get a black woman.
I kind of have to agree. And it's not just because she's a black woman and she's precious and shit like that. No, it sounds as if you just can't handle somebody that may have to head to bench strong at times where it sucks, but they've had to be strong. And I would actually have to say this. That goes for Caucasian women. That goes for our Hispanic ex women or any other woman that has to live as a strong counter to some shit that has fucked them over and they had to deal with it. Excuse the fuck out of me because you're too less of a man to actually deal with a strong, independent woman. It hurts your fifis. It makes your penis go soft. For me, shit. Get me a strong woman. I'm like, yeah. Yea, do I walk through the valley of the shadow of death? Do you want to come with me? So, but let's continue.
Okay? And so when black women respond to black men's arguments or notions, it's just that you cannot obtain a black woman. This is the argument. Well, if this is the case, if brothers cannot obtain a black woman, then why do they have complaints of relationships and situations and experiences that go bad with black women?
Because most relationships end in failure. That's the whole point of it. You actually try to date multiple people to various different degrees at various different times. Not all at the same time, but there are things that happen that, yes, maybe culture and nature based on the mass culture that we've actually propagated over the course of the world and in some communities, some parts of the community of a community actually have certain particular things based on the environment that they grew up with or the social economic status that they had to be around. It may have actually fostered a specific tenaciousness, a specific feeling or specific sense of survival. Maybe that's something that happens. But for you to say, well, the problem is because they black women, then dude, it's a reason why you don't have a woman. It's a reason why you just can't get a black woman because you're not man enough. But let's continue.
And this is the case, right? I want to talk about this because a lot of times you think that, well, when a black woman will say, you can't get a black woman, look at you, you can't get a black woman, you're fat, you can't get a black woman, you're broke, you can't get a black woman, you're ugly. I want to introduce two people to the conversation. They're fellow YouTubers who say mostly the same things, but from different avenues of the black community. Minister Jap, okay? Minister Jap is a good friend of mine. He would be considered, from what I see, a lot of women say on YouTube, oh, he's good looking.
But then he opens his mouth. And that's the thing. A lot of women will say, this guy looks good, but then he opens his mouth and he doesn't get the cookies because of the shit that comes out of his mouth. He's maybe, and I don't know the guy, but a lot of the reasons why the men don't get to eat the cookies because they have too much shit coming out of their mouths. I'm just saying. Let's be fucking truthful. No one wants to sit back and fuck somebody who they think is trying to be condescending to them. They don't. No one wants to sit back and fuck somebody who thinks or be in a relationship with somebody who thinks that they're beneath them, that they're doing them a favor. You don't want that. Why would you expect that from a woman? Come on, guy. Let's continue.
I don't understand why he talks so down on black women because he's a good-looking guy. He can get any woman. He can get a lot of women. I don't understand Minister Jap's problem with black women. Then we will go to Xanatos Clutch, who is not like Jap because Jap is more urban. Clutch is more, how can I say this? Clutch is more suburban. Talks white, okay? You can confuse him for a white guy. But I see women saying the same thing. He's a nice-looking guy. You know, he feels like he's in shape. But see, their problem is not getting black women or obtaining black women. And I'll even drop Jap out the conversation and just deal with Clutch. His problem is not that he cannot get one, because sure, you can ask a black woman out on a date. She'll go out there on a date with you. You can.
So what's the problem? The date is just as much as an interview for a relationship for a man as it is for a woman. I'm sorry. Maybe I just look at shit different. Maybe if I ask you on a date as a guy asking a woman, I'm gonna try to figure out what you like to try to. If I can't do that, we're gonna at least go to a motherfucking restaurant where we can talk for hours. If like, it's a test. It's an interview. That's what dates are. Interviews is for other shit. But let's continue.
You can have a good night of fun. You can have a month's worth of fun, a month's worth of dating. The issue that black men have with African American women is not obtaining them. It's that they cannot keep them. They cannot keep them, okay?
Again, I wonder why. Please explain why. Please tell me why. Let's continue.
Obtaining here is not the argument. And I want to shout out to Clutch for mentioning this. When we talk about black issues with black men and black women, everybody always says you can't get a black woman. But the problem is you cannot keep them. That's the argument. Now, let me deal with the keeping the sister. All right? There are issues that black men have from lack of fatherhood, and black women have from lack of fatherhood and lack of parents.
Okay, like, please don't let this be some stupid shit. Please, 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 God, non-existent as I think you are, or maybe in an absurdist God. Please, please listen to me just this once, and please, maybe it's not what I think it is. If he says because a mommy and a daddy in the home and they teach a kid how to keep a family and keep a man happy, especially mommies, learn how to. Let's continue.
That obviously, when these two groups of people, for the most part, come together, knowing how to create a functional relationship from dysfunctional backgrounds, not to say that everybody's dysfunctional, but usually you have broken homes coming together on average. Neither person has been trained in how to keep the other group.
Oh my God. Damn it. Look. Stop it. Stop it right now. People are fucking different. Each and every last one of them. Can't be trained how to keep a man in general. You have to actually understand that person and understand what they want. Just as you can't be trained to keep a woman in general. You have to know and have her explain exactly the things that you want out of that relationship. God damn, it's as if I'm explaining this to my 13-year-old. And this motherfucker is not 13. But let's continue.
The woman typically doesn't know her role. A lot of times, her brother.
The fuck? Her role? Her role? Her role is by the side of the person that she's with in a lasting relationship. This is that whole women subservient bullshit that I hear. I'd be damned if I let a man tell me that my daughter has to be subservient to him. I'd be damned. Fuck you, dude. Fuck you. Let's continue.
Brothers don't know their role. And so what you get is discontent. Wow, all of a sudden, I'm trying to deal with her and she seems bored. That's the argument the brothers have. I'm with the black woman and I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing, but she's bored. She doesn't like being in the house every day. She needs something a little bit more exciting. So then she cheats. But when I take my same boring ass to another race who has been raised with a guy that's normally like me, but he's just not black, I get better treatment.
So let's address the real problem of why that may be happening. Let's address the drug problem that's actually was splitting up families. Not the fact that drug people that should be treated as criminals. The fact that we have laws that criminalize shit that everybody does it, but it disproportionately affects one particular group in particular. Let's address that. But no, you're gonna say that's not it? Like, what the fuck, man? Let's continue.
Dealing with this woman in a longer relationship is easier to maintain. And that's what we're talking about. Obtaining versus maintaining. Black women in relationships. And a lot of
Dude, women are gonna get bored of you anyway. We actually have it built into our DNA that it's the 7-year itch. Basically, as soon as the kids get old enough to motherfucking run away from the lions themselves, that pair bonding that this motherfucking the last video was talking about goes the fuck away. As soon as it's not necessary for both parents to dote and protect the child or take care of all the needs for the child, you gotta kind of look at the person that you're partnered with and say, who the fuck are you? Because that shit happens. It takes years for you to come back to that point. But you wouldn't know that. You don't have any fucking life. You don't have a woman. Maybe that may be the problem for you. But let's continue.
Times for even brothers who sound like white guys or brothers who sound a little bit different, it's not that sisters won't give you a chance initially. Because every sister could be open to something different. Like, for example, if you talk to a black woman, especially if she's good looking, you will be surprised of how many different types of guys that she's dated. She hasn't just dated the hood guy. She hasn't just dated the dumb guy.
It's almost as if women that have more agency over their choice of who they want to be with choose a myriad of different people. And here's the secret. It's not just black women that does that. But let's continue.
A lot of times she hasn't just dated the black guy. She's dated a variety of different guys. She just is prone to one. And the guy that she allows to maintain her is different from the guy that she let obtain her.
It's so much bullshit. But you know what? You're probably right that once people actually get rid of their partying ways, they actually calm down and become, a little bit more selective in who they choose to be with. Maybe you're right. Maybe that's what's going on. And you know what? So the fuck what? That a woman is choosing to be with a man that may be different from the type when she was actually a lot less selective of who she was with. So the fuck what? Why does that bother you so much? But let's continue.
And the obtain, maybe you might obtain me for a date. You might obtain me for a few weeks, maybe 6 months. But the guy that will maintain me fits this characteristics. This is what we're talking about. I think that in this argument, when we talk about maintaining, we got to be honest about this. Black people do not go, and I'm talking about in our culture. Obtaining is worth more than maintaining, especially for men. And people getting the girl's number, what we do, and all that. But we don't look for long-term relationships.
I wonder why. I wonder the fuck why. Has there been something that may have actually socially or economically or, culturally disadvantaged us for looking for long-term relationships? Has it been since, it can't be since the introduction of looser divorce laws that everybody's actually looking into maybe divorce, and maybe that shame is actually gone where you can actually separate from your partner after however many long time, and it's not looked upon as shameful. I don't know, but let's continue.
Okay. And what ends up happening is for black people who are looking for long-term relationships, both men and women, they are mixed in with the people who are looking for obtaining relationships. And what happens at this point is you get people who get disgruntled because they can't find people who are serious. So then they feel that if I'm a black man, I want to have a maintained relationship with a woman. Black women, for the most part, for the kind of guy that I am, they are not going to be a good fit. Because everybody can have a maintain a relationship with the right person for them. But for a lot of brothers who don't fit the I have the nigger juice type of mentality, she's not going to let me allow her to maintain her.
The fuck? Like, seriously. Like, what the fuck? Oh my God. He really thinks that it's about being some kind of tough guy. Oh my god. I don't know. My head hurts with all this stupidity tonight. Let me let him finish this up, and then I'm signing off for the night, guys.
Therefore, I'll go to Becky. I will go to Mylene. Because she's looking for somebody like me that wants to be in a maintained relationship. So this is what we're talking about today. All right, guys? And that's the argument. You can't get a black woman argument. I think that's a little shallow. Every brother has dealt or been in a relationship for the most part with some African American woman. Okay, if you have dated them and you have complaints, how can you have these complaints unless you dated them? All right.
Because you're buying into a stereotype. Uh,
So guys, what do you think about this? Make sure you comment below, hit the bell, subscribe to the channel. Check out my Patreon, patreon.com/Negro Manosphere. You don't want to miss out on that. And as you know, the buffoonery remains at an all-time high.
God, he kind of reminds me of a G-man that thinks he's tough shit. I don't know. I don't know, guys. But anyway, as you can probably